So with polygamous relationships, it's not about sex. It never should be about sex. Sex should just be something that just happens as the fucking icing on the cake.
Right.
What polygamous relationships is all about is really you have 3 people that all have an income in one house. That rent is fucking $1,200 or $1,500. If you got 3 people, 9 times 10, you got a bigger house, like 5 bedroom, 4 bedroom, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
3 people. Y'all split the rent, y'all split the bills. That's extra money in each pocket, right? That means all 3 of us as a whole can create our own business and have enough money to be able to support each other's business and help each other build each other's business to build a foundation. And guess what? We love each other. We have that agreement with all 3 of us.
Right.
No one is bigger than the other person. No one is better than the other person. But you have 3 incomes. You can take all the trips you want. You can take all the which comes with because nobody's struggling. That's a polygamous relationship. Not because, I get to fuck 2 bitches. No, that shit don't mean nothing. That shit, you could pay 2 bitches to fuck you. That's easy. Like, ass is so easy to get nowadays. It's ridiculous. Like, it's too ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. $40 and a cheesesteak will get you some ass, and that's bad.
Shit.
If that's all you want to say.
She already drunk. She might.
But if you want to build with somebody,
or
if you want to build a foundation, a polygamous relationship is perfect because y'all all are helping each other. Everybody get the floor.
Do you think that it's permitted then for a woman to also say, as though the situation you said, instead of it being a man and 2 women, what if it's a woman and 2 men?
That's their decision. I'm not with that, but like I wouldn't.
So what would you do as the man who's actually with the woman if there's another man in the picture?
If she want that, then she gotta go get that. Go ahead.
Out of that situation.
Yeah, I can't share a house with another man. Either I'm gonna move on, or separate myself from it, and maybe
especially if you married or you're taking this person serious, you don't want that. Yeah. You're gonna make sure not to keep her around.
Right.
Another man, regardless of who
it ain't even that. It's just the fact of the matter. I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think 2 men belong in the same house because you got that alpha side.
It's your brother or your cousin.
I mean, yeah, that's different. Brother or cousin, that's different. That's
so
family.
When you get married, if they're there, that's cool.
If they're there, but not in a relationship.
Okay, if they're living there, as long as you and him know, okay, this is my woman, so.
No, not happening.
You like we just getting another place to live.
Another place to live. You're
not about to sit here and be stressing out about you fucking with my brother.
No, not even gonna happen. Not even thinking that. Nah.
Well, that's wise of you. Instead of sitting there waiting and seeing how you gonna feel about it, get your ass out of the damn situation. You know, that way you don't cause no tension with the family member or the friend. And then
if you want to smash up, do you?
That's pretty.
Life.
So you won't let her do that though, and just be cool with it?
That's her loss, not mine.
Oh, because you're gonna let her ass go after this.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Not mine.
I'm about to say, be clear.
If you come to an agreement, like I said, at 2-3 years, you're like, all right, look, this relationship has been. We had our ups and downs. I mean, we've done everything.
Because that's the thing. Like, if you got a problem with a man, you got to kind of uphold your end of the stick. Like, we can't be just, I'm doing everything and then.
Sometimes you need to go and branch out and get that happiness, or just to have a little fun. Just to know what you got at home is worth more.
That's what I'm just trying to learn. So that was your polygamy point of view. So what about monogamy? Like,
listen.
Do you have? So say as though you get with a woman who doesn't want to do the open relationship vibe.
That's fine.
You willing to be committed?
She gotta understand. Yeah, I'm willing. I've been
growing with that person.
That's nothing.
So you know how to do either or. You know how to be in an open relationship or.
But when you've been in so many relationships and people don't accept your profession, like as a DJ, that shit. Man, accusations are real when you're a DJ. Accusations are real. Everybody thinks that the DJ is getting ass. No, these DJs are not getting ass. We are not. I'm speaking from
your own point of view.
We are not getting ass like that. No, we're not. DJs are not always getting ass. That shit is.
But the women you're with think that you're.
But the women
just hopping around
that we with, they think, because you hugged a woman or you in a DJ booth and the females is coming up to the DJ booth. No, they doing that shit because they want to expose. They want to make it seem like they in the club lit. It ain't for them DJ. The DJ just most 9 times out of 10, when a female comes to the DJ booth, DJ is telling them one or two things. I do not have your song, which he's lying. Or I'll play it next, which he's lying. That's the only 2 things that's really happened. Or if she try to give you the music, you give me your email address, you do some business, you do business that way. Or can you DJ my event? Cool. But most of the time it's I ain't got that song. Or I'll play next. And then next be like
whatever they want to play.
And then the night when it's time to go and I'm like, oh yeah, somebody did ask you this song. Let me play this song real quick. Yeah, that's what?
Okay.
Don't let these people fool you.
So,
now, there probably is some DJs out there getting ass, but that's on them.
Probably.
I can't mix business or person.
I guess everybody got different perspectives on how they would go about it. Because, I mean, you said you got a different type of relationship with your mom. But say as though y'all work close, or you decide to get married and you want to include her in that, decision making, or your father.
I don't include. Listen, as an adult, your parents had one job order to groom you to be the best person you could be. Once you become an adult, everything you do is based on your own judgment and your own decision making. Nobody else is influencing that. Now, there may be childhood traumas or situations that may alter how you feel about certain ways, but you learn that when you grow up. Like, most men don't understand that your 20s are only for to get the party and shit out your system, get all that extra shit that you thought was cool. That's your experiment time. When you turn 30 or when like 29 to 30, nigga, you need to start building a foundation. If you haven't already tried to start building a foundation in your 20s. Like me personally, by 25, I already did what I wanted to do. So at this point, I did
all the wild stuff.
Yeah, I did all the wild
system,
shit.
Stole your wild
I was checking out my bucket list in my 20s. By the time I turned 25, I was like, all right, look, I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to start building on my foundation. I make sure I leave a legacy for my kids. Like that's my vision. That's how I started thinking. And that's what it's been about now. Like I'm 31 now. Like yo, all I care about now is fucking stocks, working on ways to make money without actually doing anything. Like,
and working with people with business minded.
Yeah, and working with people that's business minded. I can't do no phony shit.
No more clown time.
No.
I understand that. I feel like for me, cause you're in your early 30s, you're just kind of branching out. So for me, I'm in my late 20s, so I'm moving, into that early 30s, and I'm not there yet. But I keep planning now to try to be like, okay, on serious note, I want to take myself serious.
Right.
I do want a relationship, and you know what the thing with women, be told we can't have kids after a certain age, blah, blah, blah.
That bullshit.
I don't really listen to all that because there's a lot of women out here having the kids in their 40s.
Hell yeah.
And all that. So I'm looking at it like, okay, I am not established in a relationship, but singular, I know how to establish myself. So instead of waiting for a relationship, I want to just go ahead and establish myself.
I feel like this. When you love yourself enough, the right person to come around and love you. So, love is not what makes a relationship. What makes a relationship is having understanding of another person's lifestyle and being able to either one, agree and adapt because you like who they are, or just not dealing with them at all. Because personally, 9 times out of 10, you're only in a relationship with one or two things. The sex is good, they're attractive, but at the end of the day, you still got shit you want to get done. And that person got shit they want to get done. So at the end of the day,
if we can't support each other, then one is going to get drained, or something not going to get done.
One going to be putting into more than the other, or one is not going to get nothing at all.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I did kind of realize, like, I'm willing to put a lot of things into investing in another person in a relationship, but I never really had a relationship where it was somebody willing to invest into my dreams. It was like almost as if the things I wanted to do was like ignored when we got serious, and it's like, what What the heck?
And that always, and you know what's crazy? That always will happen because of the simple fact of the matter that some people don't know how to ask for help or to ask for, like, some people know how to just, I'll do it anyway. Like, you ain't even gotta ask, I'll do it. Whereas some people, they want you to come to them first before they make that decision because they don't want to overstep you or make it seem like they trying to take over your business. Like me, I'm that person. I'm not going, some people I'll just help off the muscle, off the strength of just helping you. But I've been in situations where if I help somebody, like I've helped somebody, help them build, and the first thing they said was, this is my business, not your business. I'm like, excuse me, I was just trying to give you ideas and help you flourish your money.
Oh, but they looking at it like
I'm trying to take over. No.
Oh gosh. And that be the problem is like.
But when you got somebody that want to just that knows that you're just trying to help them, that shit gonna work. That shit gonna work like butter. But
now the thing is, you don't want to get overdrained working on helping somebody who's knowing that you want to help them and they take advantage of you and don't even pour back into you. Because that's what I had to.
That you got to put in check. That's why I feel as though also you should be with somebody that complements what you're into. Like, don't just jump in a relationship because you like that person or because of what that person does. Actually build a relationship and with that person and build a friendship with that person. Once you build that friendship, most things that people do, like, for instance, I'm a DJ. If I'm a DJ and I start dating somebody who does not work in the entertainment field at all, I'm going to have to pre-warn them. Like, look, this is what the industry holds. This is what being a DJ will consist of. You can come, you can do whatever. But this is business only. Don't look at it as anything other than business. This is strictly business. Once you get that understanding and you're able to come to events and you're not getting jealous or anything, you're good. Because 9 times out of 10, most people, it's just business. If I go on a lunch date, 9 times out of 10, it's just business. I don't want this person. This person don't want me. You're talking business.
And I get that because, like, everything is not meant to be intimate. Every relationship is not meant to go towards that just because you're with the opposite sex or with or if you're partnered with an attractive person, that doesn't have to always lead to those types of things. Yeah.
You gotta understand balance.
And that's where I'm definitely the type of person who loves balance. But I think right now with me taking this self journey, I'll be like trying to understand how to pour back into myself again. Right. But this time really paying attention to where I'm going to direct my energy outside of my self-love.
It took me a while to learn to love myself. Once I started loving myself, I became a total asshole. Because, and I say that since I'm dead ass. Once you learn to love yourself, no one can fuck up how you feel.
But that's the thing, I'm already in love with myself.
Right. No one can change how you feel. Nobody can change what you think. Like, once you see
yourself, them trying to, you be like, hold up.
You're like, hold up. You coming out, you gotta go.
You starting to rub off on me wrong.
Yeah, you packing your own bag to leave, nigga. You better go ahead. Like, that's how you gotta look at it.
Okay, I don't feel bad then. Because there do be times where I be like, I be feeling like, am I selfish right now? Because you got me fucked up if you think I'm about to. You talking about, I look at the mirror like, damn. I do the same, I ain't gonna lie.
I look a little rough. But when I get this haircut, girl, like that.
But you even, see, because I ain't even, this is my first time getting a face beat and, you know, whatever, trying to get dolled up. And it's 30 days, I have not been dolling myself up. I've been just relaxing, but I was loving myself for who I was. Yes, who I am, my natural beauty, my flaws too. Like everything, I just been embracing everything about me.
That's what you're supposed to
and like today, as I self-review, I just was like, you know, I ultimately want to have the gratitude to be able to say, okay, it's okay to love myself the way that I do, and it's okay to even beat my face, you know, do all this stuff too for fun, just because it's my life.
Yeah.
It's me putting effort into me and my energy, my time. But yeah, like, it's just too many things going on with relationships. That's why I kind of take the time to allow people to remove themselves. It's not even really me removing anyone, you know. It's just people just choosing to remove themselves due to the fact that there are things that are hidden within how they feel about me that they're just not willing to tell me, I guess, to my face, or that they're never going to tell me because they're willing to just be what?
I said that's people that you can't do business with. If you can't be open with me or be upfront with me, then I don't
if we both on the level of where we try and grow, and there's things I'm trying to do that might align with what you're doing or be similar to it, and you have some type of foot in the door, there might be resources, things that I can offer to you, and there might not be. But if you genuinely rock with me, it shouldn't be no question. Like for me, if I'm fooling with somebody that is in a higher caliber, I'm going to bring people to them that can kind of enhance their, you know, growth. And even though they may not be on their caliber, the point is, it's always a good look to be able to reach back and pick up who is behind you, because you never know if they get there on their own and then you fall short. You're gonna be like, oh, that's that same nigga I left hanging, and now I'm left hanging and I can't even reach out to him because and it'd be like people just fail to realize how you treat people. That shit will circle the fuck back around. So if I ask you to help me and you just looked at me like, oh, well, you gotta do this and you gotta do that. Yeah, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, or you not on that level, or you just ain't a third. Like, what? And it'd be like, all right, well, I'm gonna do it myself, and I'm gonna get to that level myself.
When a nigga tell you no, or a business opportunity tell you no, you create that shit yourself. Then when you create that shit yourself and you in the same position that they in, they look at you, they be like, I see you made it. Be like, yeah, thank you. Because you told me no. I need you to tell me no for me to get where to push myself more.
Facts. It's like you whole time helped me for real. You motivated me to go ahead and tackle this shit even harder. Not mad at anybody who ever kind of like didn't want to help me, because I realized that I needed to help myself. I realized I needed to put more effort into what I'm doing. I needed to be more transparent with people and being able to kind of make arrangements to do the things that I'm thinking of, instead of, you know, reaching out to people who are in it already and asking them to kind of give me a hand for help. Do it yourself.
The dollar more when you earned it versus somebody handing it to you. Somebody was to give you $100,000 right now,
and you ain't work
appreciate it, and you ain't work for it, you gonna be frivolous with that shit.
Yep, you gonna blow it and be like,
in your head you gonna be like, shit, I ain't had to work for this.
Right.
Nothing. I'd probably get this again if I wanted. No, that's how you think.
Don't even invest it. Don't think of how to make it something. That's like, I got a little bit of bread. I'm like, all right, I'm about to finally invest in myself, you know, and I'm gonna pay people that I want to work with and grow with, but I want to make sure that I first see that it's people worth putting my energy into, instead of using my money to pay for somebody else's dream or goal or potential. I'm gonna pay for my own dreams and goals and potentials. And I don't regret that I've invested time, money, and energy and thoughts and ideas into bringing people around situations that I feel as though would be beneficial to them, because they probably didn't see it as that. When I'm in the mind frame of growing with people who I see talented or whatever, I don't be now I'm at the point now, but where I can, but I didn't at first understand that those people are hungry, so they're not looking at the idea that, okay, I'm trying to work with you to push your endeavors. And I understand that they probably was like, you got your own endeavors, why is you helping me? And like he was saying about, you know, different people that you came across before in situations where they like, don't help, like, I don't need you, this my business, you know. Because they see that you got potential too, but instead of telling you like, I got it, work on yours, they didn't carry it right with the response, you know. So then you don't understand why people don't let you nurture their stuff. And that's why I'm realizing, like, I can't nurture anybody else's stuff until my stuff is to the point where I can actually give back to people, and without hurting myself. You can't help being a person who is a nurturer, but you can help how you nurture and what you're nurturing at it.
And what you're giving your energy to.
Yep. That's why I was like, now, you know, this week I self-prioritize. You can still receive bad energy. The thing is, as long as you keep your energy pouring into yourself of self-love, self-awareness, because there's so many things every day that you got to realize that you got to do for yourself before you take care of anybody.
Right.
I do want to have children one day, but it's no rush, because I want to make sure that I'm completely a whole individual and understand myself as much as I possibly can, you know, so that I can kind of give. But if I had a child right now, I'm still going to make sure I'm good when I wake up and make sure that they're good. If I'm sick, I can't even be around them because I'm putting them in danger. You know, so it's like I gotta take care of. You have to take care of yourself. You have to. You are the first priority when you wake up in the morning, and the last priority. And it sounds selfish, but I've always like on the plane, get your kid. Plane about to go down. They tell you mask up. It's only one mask. What would you do? And why?
Yeah, I'll relive.
All right.
You still got life to live.
People's like, oh yeah, you gonna save yourself first because you can reproduce another child, but you can't reproduce another you. That was his point of view, right?
I agree with that.
Now, at the same time, I also feel like a child doesn't have as much of this as you do.
Right.
So because you have this, you can find other ways other than that freaking mask to breathe and survive. The baby don't know how to breathe or survive. Right. But you have more lung capacity because you've lived longer. You have more knowledge of other ways to be able to avoid whatever is going on that make them say put a freaking mask on. I never understood what you putting a mask on anyway when something happened on the plane. Right. Because if niggas blowing up, what the fuck the mask gonna do? But you know what I'm saying? Right. Now if we talk about a jetpack or something, or a joint that you jump off the plane and I would put it on myself because I can carry the child and strap them to me with it, you know. Right. But I guess it's how you view survival. Yeah. People view survival so different, and people don't really know sometimes what they would do unless they got into a situation, unfortunately. And then they get in a situation and they looking at it like, look, I can't help you. Though when you just said your parents got a certain job with you to fulfill. They got a purpose once they have you to fulfill. Once you reach a certain point in your life,
you gotta do it on your own.
Exactly. There's no requirement to you anymore. And that's actually how I was brought up, and I was looking at it like, at first, like, y'all niggas leaving me hanging and da 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 da. And they like, girl, you is grown. Figure that shit out at this point. Because what we told you and gave you, we felt was enough for you to be able to live and, you know, make the proper decisions about your existence. And I realized that that's a good thing to be. You know, that's the tribal way. Because you don't, that's like how a lot of animals actually do, for real. You know, you're not going, the bird don't, they hold the baby in the nest and protect them and all that. But once your ass know how to fly and walk, all right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you up out of there. Go find them worms. We just went through training last week. Get out of here. So that's how it is with humans. We just have I feel like with I guess black people differently though, is that we were kind of put in a predicament in this country where this, you know, manipulation, yes. And that kind of stuff now, it kind of put us in a predicament where it's like it takes the younger parents to be able to say, okay, what can I do different to be able to make sure that my child has a different lifestyle, you know? How can I treat their parent that's other than me, whether we together or not, so that this child is learning from us both, you know, and is able to receive the benefit of having two parents, regardless of them being together. I don't believe in the parents got to be together in order for the child to be raised right. I really don't, because sometimes it could be toxic if they're together and they don't fuck with each other, because then you teach this child to just stay strapped to somebody that you fuck with. Yeah, they could, and be teaching them way better than if they was together, married, and trying to say we together for y'all, like, but y'all miserable as shit, and we see y'all miserable. So it's like, what is the point in doing it? You're doing this to yourself. We don't ask you to do this. You can be co-parenting, but you're choosing. You're the one. Don't blame your fucked up relationship on. Yeah, that's how I'm learning from, you know, situations that I see sometimes. It's like, because a person, it's one-sided sometimes, where the woman want the man and she keep trying to force him to be with her because they got a kid, and vice versa sometimes too. I'm sure it works like that sometimes. Yes. But ultimately, it's like somebody has to choose to be transparent and honest about it if they're not wanting to do that. And then the person who is trying to force it,
the person that's trying to force it, they gotta understand. Some people say they understand, but they genuinely don't, and they will push another agenda to get what they want.
And it's just crazy because that's what makes it hard. I think
you can go ahead. We can go all separate ways, but then
they plotting behind your back
to make it end up making it work,
stirring up trouble for your relationships that you got outside of them. It's like, come on. Like, all we got is a child together. Why is you trying to take my whole life?
Right.
You know, like, leave me be. And I'm not even in a predicament, but just imagining, like, how people do stuff like that. And even just the thought of, I mean, I don't have commitment phobia or nothing. I just look and view how people think. And some men even have, like, just wanted to have a kid and don't know why they want to have a kid with me. And then I'm like, I don't even know you enough to know whether or not I want to parent with you. You know, forget the fact that I want to also be married before I even think about it. And that's just a preferential thing that I've built to just decide on, is before I have my child, I want to be married to this person. Because that means that we at least kind of came to a point where we
know each other enough.
Yeah, you know, because marriage does teach you about yourself and the person on a different type of level. And having kind of
living together teach you.
It really do, because it's an agreement.
I think every couple should live together before they get married.
I believe that.
Because then you get to see how this person interacts and how this person is.
Now you gotta be careful with some people, because they flip the script after you got the commitment though. It's like you get the commitment and then they change the whole narrative.
If you've been living, say you've been in a relationship for about 2-3 years. All right, cool. Y'all talking marriage, goals talk, boom, that. All right, live together for a year before y'all get married. That year that y'all need the
like the engagement year.
Yeah, the engagement year. Go ahead, live together for that year. See how it works out. If y'all can coexist in one spot and be able to handle each other, help each other, and handle each other's problems in one spot, then yeah, marriage is working. But if y'all lash or it don't go together like it's supposed to, or mesh together like it's supposed to, oh, you gonna see.
Yeah. Freedom. Some people don't know how to give somebody their freedom.
Or their space.
Yeah, and their space. Like, I like my space sometimes, so I would need to be around somebody who understands
I love my
that
space all the time.
Yeah, like, it's like, let me breathe.
When I'm by myself.
We will have dates and we will have events and stuff that I feel like we should also take time to put together with each other. And if we're building a best friend bond anyway, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be around that person and not be bothered by their energy being around you. Because they probably doing what they supposed to be doing or doing that day. And you doing what you're supposed to be doing that day. But if you're sitting around somebody who is lying to you or bringing you false energy, you can feel that too, though. You can feel when somebody, it's like you minding your business, you going about your business, you got your space, but it's like the space that they're giving you is off some like, well, you don't want to be around me, so I was over such and such household, you know. And it's like they trying too hard.
They hit you with the I'm gonna just leave you be because you look like you don't want to be around nobody. I'm minding my business. You
can have a seat over there, but don't bother me because I'm working right now. Or, you know, but it's like,
I'm minding my business.
And that's a part of a relationship too. I think that's when it comes to intimate relationships, is that if you really love somebody outside of yourself, I don't think that it will intervene with them not loving themselves and you loving yourself. But I think the best relationships are two people knowing how to love themselves. Because you have to be able to accept that they are happy with themselves. Exactly. Yeah. If you're not happy to see them like having a good day without you being there, something is wrong with you.
Right.
Why are you mad that this person is in the house enjoying their day? And then you coming in there accusing, what, you was just with a bitch? Or like, what? you was just around somebody. Where was you just at? Right. You was around old boy house.
That's who lunch date you went on? Okay.
That was the meeting you had. That's why you smiling. Fuck you smiling so hard
for?
Like, you come in the house, you're like, hey, babe, what the fuck you hey babe me for?
Right, nigga.
Like, what?
All day at work. What the fuck you so happy for? What's so happy about your job?
And that's just how you know, like, don't give your energy that's fucked up with you on somebody else. Because we have our bad days even if we do love ourselves. But you gotta know how to be like, that was my bad day. Let me not go home and pour this stuff on my kids or my spouse because they probably had a good ass day today.
Right.
So I'm gonna take my ass straight upstairs real quick and hit this nap because, I don't want to snap on somebody.
Try again. My breath.
Say no dumb ass shit to me right now.
Smoke this blunt.
Right.
I'll be good. Get a couple kills in Call of Duty or something. Or listen to some music. I'll be good. Give me like an hour or two.
I'm telling you.
Come talk.
Now, you know, I know you have a different type of relationship with your mother, but once you get a wife, does your mother come first or your wife? So, and I know the daughter comes first when she's born, but
that's a question I've been asked more than once, even by my spouse. Does my mother come first? So my stepmom, which is the woman who raised me with my father.
She's your mother.
Her name's tattooed on my chest. Like, that's how, like,
close she is to you.
Close she is to me. That's my mother. Like, on, like, my birth certificate say one thing, but when I fill out applications, I put her name as my mother's name.
I rock with that.
So it's different for me. So with me, that woman could have said, I don't want to take care of him, and I don't want to take care of him. Send him to a foster home. I'd have been. Then she could have. Then I would be out here on the streets doing something wild, probably gang banging or some other shit, or out here living a reckless fucking life. No, this woman took me in, fucking raised me, treated me like her son, and made it known that I was her son, made it seem as though I was her son. To the point where I believed as a child I would die. I came
that
from
was your
her.
mother.
Until I seen my birth certificate, I had to realize, like, all right, look, dog, this shit is that mother. But that still never changed. She's still my mother. Like, if I had, like, I want to get it put on my birth certificate that's my mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want the name that's on there. But, and I have my personal views and personal reasons why. But
you probably are healing from that too, to be able to accept everything.
Exactly. So, to me, I owe that woman my life because she made the decision to raise me when she didn't have to. It wasn't a priority. She made it a priority. Something that's not even of her blood. She made it a priority to raise me and keep me. That alone pushed her to another pedestal. Because now I don't look at her as just a mother. I look at her as a mother, a hero.
Right. She provided for me. Yeah, like.
To this day, she still, if I needed something, she would be there to help me. Today or tomorrow, my wife would be like, I don't want to fucking be with you no more. I'm leaving. Guess who's still going to be there, though? Your mother. Because at the end of the day, if I needed it, she was going to be there. She's been there from day one. So it's hard for me to be like, all right, my wife will go first. Now, my wife will go first in certain situations, yes. I will always take my wife's side because this is my household. Okay. If my mother's wrong, my mother's wrong. If my wife is wrong, I'm going to tell my wife she's wrong when we get in the house.
Not
in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Not in front of everybody. I'm telling her she's wrong when we get in the house. I'm going to fix the situation. I'm going to tell her she's wrong when we get in the house. But that's just how that goes. Depending on what the situation is, my wife may come first. My mother may come first. But if my wife decides to leave me today or tomorrow, then yes, my mother's gonna come first.
Right. So, do you view how? Because she's still with your father.
Yes.
So, the way I view,
been married for 20-something years.
The way I view is that
been together for
yes,
30.
If they are together, right? If the parents are together, he is her first, and a woman usually looks at that because we're the ones that are typically handed off, I guess, from our fathers if we have them, you know, or our guardian, whoever was our guardian. We're handed off to the dominance of a man.
Right.
And so when that's done, it's like that's why women put the husband not necessarily before the father in the sense of, you know, you lose respect for your father or whatever, but your husband does come first. Because if there's something that he doesn't want to do, you got to respect that. Yeah, you got to respect what he wants first, not what your father wants, because you're not living with your father. He's not helping you pay the bills anymore, or ever was, you know?
And I agree with that. That's how it is. And that's why I said in some instances, yes, the wife does come first. And in some instances, I got to look at the bigger picture.
A general conversation, it doesn't matter. But I also view that the spouse comes first because as the parents get old, depending on how many siblings is involved in the situation, depending on how many, of the children are involved in the situation, you may be left with having to take care of your parent. So your spouse being there with you is actually a benefit.
A big benefit.
Because you need them at that point to help you make sure your parents is resting in the last days of their life. And I feel like once you get married, it's a journey that you're now taking on, not just with yourself, but you have a partner now to live this life thing with. The reason I would put that person first is because, yes, if we lose a child, we can reproduce. We can potentially look into ways to reproduce business, reproduce a future, reproduce a life for our parents, even if whether they married or alone or whatever,
Right.
But if we don't value the placement of each other in our lives, then we never really get to a point where we're able to kind of like really run everything in our lives. Because then we're putting certain things on pedestals before each other. Now, we come first in our individual life, but then when we're together, it's like, okay, I'm going to consult with my spouse before I consult with anybody.
Right. Which is how...
Because because that's who I'm paying the bills with. That's who I'm laying down next to. That's who I'm breaking my bread with. That's the table that I actually am sitting at right now, That is the provisions for the bulk of my life if I'm married, For me, I'm single, so I ain't got no problem. I just, it's just me. I got to take care of my mouth to feed. And my parents are still married, so they take care of one another, So they're not my responsibility. And they are still healthy and, working and all that. But that's why I just look at like, okay, I'm getting and gathering my life right now. But if I was to be married, I would need or desire for that person to kind of understand the dynamic of the order of family that we're choosing to have. We can't have two different perceptions on how order of family work, Now, when it comes to advisement, do you listen? Say as though you're in love with somebody, or you're in love with your wife and she didn't like your wife. I'm pretty sure she loves her. But say as though it was a circumstance where she didn't like your wife, or she felt like you should have been with the first baby mother. How would you go about that?
My mother, that's
Does she have a say in that, or you make your decisions about your relationship?
I'm going to tell you how type of mother I had. Every relationship I had, every serious relationship I had, my mother knew about. Me and my mother was like this. My mother knew about my first. She knew about everything. Me and my mother's like my best friend.
Okay.
So if I come to her, I was able to go to her and talk to her about situations in my relationship that was happening, going on, or talk to her about stuff that happened in the relationship and be like, I need your opinion, and she'd give me her opinion.
Mm-hmm. But you always take it, but you make your own decisions ultimately.
I make my own decision ultimately from her decision, or from what she said.
Mm-hmm.
And she never given me to
bad influential advisement. Because some people, I look at the relationship of the person that I'm getting advice from,
and she don't take sides. She tells me when I'm wrong.
So that's good. Because some people like to, no, son, you're right about everything that you're doing, and it's like, come on, no, he's not. Like, and to be like, don't act blind to. You're out there fucking truth.
Keisha, Kim, and Tam.
Right, this.
You're gonna tell him he right.
Right.
And
like,
I done seen the messages, but she's
the wrong one, and now you're gonna leave his ass alone again because you keep telling him the wrong advice and messing up situations that could be a good benefit for him. But I don't know. That's why I'm looking at it, like, even when I become a mother of sons, how I would be. I always look so far in the future, and I always just look at how men are with their mom. I pay attention to how my brothers are with my mom, and how I am with my dad and my mom, and how I've been before with people and their moms that I've dated, And I always respect them, and I always try to build a relationship enough to where as though they know enough about me to be comfortable, right. But the truth about me, I don't sugarcoat who I am, right. Just because the person I'm with, mother. Like, you right. need to know who I am, because I'm not gonna present you with anything other than me. But I do realize that even having a dad who's really heavily in my life, I don't let him dictate how I'm gonna be with somebody.
Right.
Like, his advice is always good to hear, because then it allows me to rethink certain things and kind of look at it again a little deeper. But the decision is ultimately mine. So they'd be like, all right, come on, let me make this decision by myself. I appreciate your advice, but yeah, because like some people don't know how to conduct that that control back of whatever it is. Not even just relationships, but even work stuff.
Right.
Because you want them to know, like, I'm doing this because I want to do this. My life is mine, not yours, you know? So, yeah, pretty much the thing I've learned, though, in dating and then having a close relationship with my dad is that I had to kind of... I've been taking the time to step back and just build back up with my dad.
Right.
Because as a growing woman, you know what I'm saying? I got to really do stuff on my own and not take so much of what he says to the heart, because I look at his relationship and his past too as I've been getting to know family, and just realizing, like, I respect a lot of how my dad chose to maneuver in his life, but I don't necessarily judge men based on him. I don't judge the men I date based on my brothers or my father or my grandparents or nothing, because I'm a different woman than the women in my family. I do have some of their traits, but you can choose what things you want to keep from your family and what things you want to kind of be like, look, I don't like how she used to do that, so I'm not doing it to my kids or to myself or whatever, you know? So you can make those decisions once you are an adult and you have your own life that you're starting to embark on. But I think sometimes the 20s, like you said, because they're so fun, you still kind of got them childlike ways where you still kind of revert to your parents for certain things. But I had to come to the realization that I love their advice. I probably have their advice coming to me until the end of my days, you know. But I want to always make sure that I'm making firm decisions solely on me and how I feel at the end of the day. Relationships and business, for real. I mean, that's the main thing. Like, and love, self-love. You gotta have the self part, though. That's like a given. So yeah.
I mean, I just started learning to love myself. Like,
that's okay. Men need to do
3 years, 4 years. I just started learning. I've always loved myself, but like, when you let past situations and shit like that get to you, it makes it hard. It took me to have a nervous breakdown and all this other shit, and just to be like, just to give up on life, to be like, all right, you know what? Let me bring myself back. You are somebody important.
And that's good to hear a man say.
Go do something with yourself.
That's good to hear a man say, especially a black man, because I feel like black men go through a lot. And I feel like because, I mean, black women do too, but I always realized that as a black woman going through things, I was like, black men probably got it 2 times harder.
We're held to a standard of being, of always having to be strong.
And it's like, y'all can't break down when you're hurting or whatever in front of people, whatever it may be. So then you looked at like a certain way. Yeah. And I'm just like, where is the narrative in that? King and Queen's perspective. Black road trip vibes. All right, so what?
Most people, I'll say, look at a kid as an obligation. When you have a kid, it becomes an obligation. It becomes a situation where now I have to raise you for 18 years. I don't really want to, but I have to. Instead of looking at it as, all right, I lay down with this person, had sex with this person, we end up creating a kid. This kid is now a vessel of the love that we had for each other. That's what the kid portrays.
Or of the situation.
Of the situation. Whether it's love, whether it was lust, whatever it is, their kid is gonna grow. That's what that kid came from. In most situations, it's out of love. Well, they think it's out of love.
Does everybody in the situation think it's out of love, or just?
Not everybody think it's out of love, but most people it's supposed to be through love. So the thing is this though. Me personally, my opinion on kids is I love kids. I love my kids to death. Like, even other people's kids. Like, I'll do anything and everything for a kid before I do it for myself. Only because they're the next thing. They're the next future. They're gonna be here longer.
Pushing them to where
we're pushing them where they gotta be. So when I had my kids, I have 2 boys. I have a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old. I have 2 boys. I treat them like they're adults. Only for the simple fact of the matter is I'm preparing them for what they're about to go through next. But at the same time, that love and that compassion that I didn't get as a child all the time, I'm giving to them so that they'll know or be able to agree or adapt to what's to come and know what's real and what's fake. Because the love you give to a kid is not the same love you give to your woman or to somebody else. It's totally different. The love you have for kids is totally different. And when you first have your first kid, you will be like, oh my fucking God. Like, you're going to be obsessed with your kid. Because that's how I am. I'm obsessed with my kids. Like, whenever they want to do, we with it. We everywhere. Road trips all the time. Because once you
they become a big priority, the number one priority in your life. Exactly. I understand that. That's why I be like,
but
okay,
on top of becoming the number one priority in your life, kids also understand that
you have a life.
You have a life too. So some kids, I'm not saying now, the thing I don't like, side note, motherfuckers will leave their kids with other people all the time. That shit is not parenting at all. Because basically somebody else is parenting your kid or raising your kid. I always have my kids. When I don't have my kids ask me all the muscle, how was your day? Did you enjoy your day? This is, mind you, my kids are young, but they already understand the value of space. I need my space. My 2-year-old tells me sometimes, Daddy, I don't want to play. I need my space. And he'll go watch his cartoons and then he'll come out and play with me. Like at 2 years old, you know about space. You know about being able to do stuff take time to yourself. And then at 2 years old.
That's lit. So how do you view then? Because you're not married right now, and you're not,
no, I am married.
And you're single. So you are married.
Yeah.
Okay. So so you have a child with your marriage, and then you have a child outside of your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what are your personal views then about
having a child outside of a relationship, or just like having it if we've never been in a relationship? Because in my case, my first child, I wasn't in a relationship with the person. It was on some shit happens.
Okay.
But that was the first situation.
All right.
But it has its trials and tribulations, miscommunications, and all that. However, first thing first, I think you should always establish an understanding with with that partner or that person, whether y'all gonna be together or not. Like my first kid, we wasn't together at all. Like none. Like during the pregnancy, during the birth, none of that. We wasn't together at all. So with my first son, I would do shit that I didn't go through with my second son.
What you mean? Oh, like drama type shit? Like
drama, like.
You was there when he was born, though, right?
I was there when he was born. Yeah, I was in the hospital when he was born. I watched both of my kids come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I love my kids. Before he even knew my first kid was mine, I love my kid. But
that's good.
So with me, it's more so you have to build some type of communication or friendship with the other person in order to be able to successfully discipline, love, and care for your kid that's in two different households. Because they're learning one thing in one household and they're learning a different thing in another household. So if I'm disciplining my child at this household and then you let them give them free will at your household, it contradicts each other.
Yeah.
So we get communication.
So they have the communication again.
That's the most important fucking thing in a relationship. In any type
that is a relationship
situation.
Yeah.
It's a relationship. But at the same time, you communicate. You have to be able to communicate in order to effectively co-parent.
I understand that.
Like, I have no bad blood towards any of my oldest son's mother. I don't have no bad blood towards her. She's done some fucked up shit. But at the end of the day, we have our faults. It's part of the journey. We have our faults. We both have our faults in this situation.
And y'all was both learning because it was both of y'all's first child, right?
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, I mean, where's my second child? That nigga, I was there for the pregnancy. I was there during the pregnancy, after the pregnancy. I'm still, you know what I'm saying? I'm still around them. I'm always around. So the bond is a little different than my older child. But my older child, he look at me okay, like that's like we bros. But he understand the connection of I'm your friend, but I'm also your father. So I'm gonna teach you shit.
Father first,
I'm gonna teach you things. I'm gonna push you to where you at. But when it's time to have fun, let's have fun. And that's the type of statement you have to teach your kid the difference between when it's time
the roles
to play.
That you play.
Exactly. Because I'm more than just your father. Yes, I'm your father, but I'm also your friend. I'm also going to be the one to protect you the most, or want to protect you the most.
That's a fact. That's just how my father used to be. Where he, even with my brothers, made it to where they would understand, like, you still got to be your own man. The things that I make you do on your own is so that you can be a stable man, so that you can be on your own too.
You don't got to rely on nobody else.
Because as a man, like you said, it's harder. It's about 2 notches harder than it is for a woman, because the stipulation and the stigma is that a man should be able to be the provider.
Exactly.
Even before the woman come in the picture.
Listen, that's another thing too. If you in a relationship and you want to make money, you do not let that shit bother you.
Oh, yeah, speak on that. Because men do be getting pride hurt. Like, you make more than me, so you pay more than me. Like,
I'd rather have a woman that's willing to push me and make more money than me. Because what's going to happen is, because she make more money than me, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out and find another hustle. So that I can match.
You want to double it up.
Either double up or match. Right. So that means now we both making the same amount. Now nobody, you know what I'm saying? And even still, if you make more than me, we're still equal.
Yeah. And not to make it a competition either.
Exactly.
But make it like a fun competition.
Exactly.
I think it should be like a competitive thing in a relationship when you gotta.
It's pushing you to drive. Pushing your drive to want to be more. Do more. It opens your mind up to other ideas. Because now you can look at it as, all right, well, bet. If she's making this, and if she can do this and make this, all right, I need to bring her on this part of my team so that she can handle this, because I've seen what she's done with her own. You feel me?
And then you bring it home together.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Right. And it's like y'all constantly competing the whole time. It's going to the same table.
Exactly.
And that's people be, I don't know if people get that, you know, I'm not in people partnerships, but I know that when it comes to a relationship, that's what I view as like something that will be comfortable for me. I know things work differently for different people. Some people,
it does.
Some men don't want a woman working at all. And you know.
And I agree with, and some points I agree with that, but at the same time, like, we got a family to raise.
Right. It's like you gotta be realistic. The whole picket fence with the whatever.
That shit is not real.
Right. I'm like, hold on.
It's real than European thing.
It probably is, but I look at it like I'm a human being too, and as a woman, I don't want
people to even be able to say, like, now, granted, if I was a person and I was making 100,000, 200,000 a year, 90,000 a year, even 90,000. All right, my woman knows how to work. Focus on yourself. Focus on your business, your personal business. Don't go work for somebody else, because I'm already doing that for us. Go make your side hustle. Go make your hustle.
So you're gonna encourage her to be like building the family name with, you know, and that's a good
different.
Look. Yeah.
But and vice versa.
But if she's already working and you're already working, y'all can still both put on the table to be able to build your business.
Match each other.
So it's still a win-win when it comes to knowing that you're partnering with this person. Now, how do you view order of family? Because you're married and you have children. So I view order of family, you know, not just because of the Bible, but because of the idea of what makes more sense. Yes, the child comes first in the idea of what we're doing and what we're making is to supply for them until they're able to be an adult, you know, to supply for themselves. But ultimately, I view just not the husband, but the spouse or the person that is the other parent comes before the child, simply because I need to have that balance. I don't need it, but I desire to have a balance to where I know that I can depend on you and my child can depend on you. So I need to know that you're in the picture first.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, it make it seem like a woman trying other the father, but she's not. She's trying to partner with him so that they can be the best and 100% for the child.
Exactly.
I don't want to be 50% being a mother and a father for a child that knows that I'm the mother, you know?
The ideal visual of a real man is to provide for his family and his family not have to worry about nothing. That's the ideal vision. Every man wants that his woman doesn't want his woman to work and want her to focus on herself. I mean, most real niggas, like, they want their woman to be able to focus on them. Find something that you want to do and that makes you happy, and do it until you get tired of it. That's how I think. So when it comes down to whether you're working at home or you're working, no, if I make enough money to provide, to pay all the bills, and all you're doing, and you don't need to work there. You can focus on you and focus on and work on what you want to work on. Like find a hobby or find something that you want to do, that put extra money in your pocket.
Right.
Because if the bill's already paid, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You're not stressing.
True. So how you feel about making sure to not allow other women or your first baby mother to intervene? Not because you're trying to block her out of anything, but because there's a certain respect that you have for your wife, that you're not going to allow there to be another woman to kind of like intervene in her position now.